I don't know what to say because this is going to be one of the craziest plate and ponder empty nesting with Jen and Chris Fenton's ever in the history of this incredible show, which is still, by the way, just in 72 markets. We have not picked up another market in weeks. And I'm convinced there's more than 72 markets. So I don't know where you are, Swaziland. I don't know where you are, Somaliland. Where are you? Where did Borat live? I forgot where he was. But like, we need more people. Come on, let's go. Yes. So anyway, you hear a voice that is not my wife, Jen. She is watching the World Cup, watching the USA win. But guess who is here today? We have Jon Fenton. Jon Fenton, is also known as my little brother, and also Taylor Fenton, who is known as the oldest of all the cousins from Charlotte, North Carolina, and UCLA. All right. Welcome, guys. Say hello, please.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, excited to be on tonight.
Are you really excited, or did I pressure you guys into doing it?
Maybe a mix.
There was a little arm twisting going on, but we're happy to be on here.
Now, why the arm twisting? Because you know how, incredibly successful this show is. I mean, there's just always applause wherever we go. I mean, it feels like guests would love to do this show.
Well, there's certainly a lot of applause, but it's it's pretty intimidating when you have 72 countries following you. It's impressive. It's impressive. Even when I was offering you up some new countries, you had already said you're in this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. I thought you had some unique ones out there.
That is true, and that's why I like to do a little record scratch. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. All right. Anyway, we got to talk about serious subjects tonight, like serious ones. Okay, so Uncle Jon is what we call him because that's what the cousins all call him. Actually, two of the cousins. The other cousins call him Dad. But Uncle Jon, where did you just come in from? Like, how long have you been up for right now?
Well, right now, it's about 8 p.m. West Coast time. So I'm on hour 35 on this Friday. So I've had a 35-hour Friday. That's
so is that
a
that or is that a that? Well, like you seem pretty energetic.
I'm okay. I'm on my sixth meal of the day, so that gets the thumbs up cheer. That's a win. The sleeping arrangements over the last 2 weeks have been pretty poor, so that gets the thumb down.
Make sure you're talking to the mic, though. Everybody wants to hear every word you say.
I'm on this mini-sized chair.
It's
really difficult.
It's a luxury chair, though.
Yeah.
Well, wait. So are you telling me Taiwan doesn't have state-of-the-art hotels?
No, hotels are good.
Oh, okay.
State-of-the-art hotels are good.
But the beds weren't good?
I slept 3 out of the last 10 nights have been on a plane. So
okay, so the planes didn't have a good flat seat or anything?
No. This is the back of the bus, man. Back of the bus.
Back of the bus, really? Okay, so you're one of those C-suite guys that puts it all into the company, even though you could easily fly PJs all over the world, right? I mean, that's sort of the way it works.
Yeah, all goes back in.
Yeah.
Got to keep the profits going.
It actually all goes to Taylor.
Yeah, I'm in charge around here.
Okay, so Taylor, tell me what is going on with you. UCLA, okay, number one is I do know that they had a great men's volleyball team that sort of fell a little short this year. They had a good, what were they good at? Well, they did have one big win over, was it Penn State in football?
Yeah,
right?
The football team had that big upset, and our women's basketball
was your dad
team,
upset about the Penn State win?
Yeah, I was in Switzerland. I was studying abroad this fall, and I was in Switzerland when that game happened, and I woke up in my hostel, and I was like, I got to make fun of my dad for this a little bit, being a Penn State alum. But yeah, our women's basketball team actually won the national championship this year,
right.
Which was pretty incredible.
That is right. And for you, that's an applause. I would say for some people in New York City, they were a little not all that excited about it, right? Gigi and RJ are big UConn.
Yeah, UConn. Yeah, but it's pretty exciting. We had a really awesome team this year and a lot of seniors who are now off in the WNBA. So pretty exciting to see and cool to be a part of, get to go watch the game and support them.
Did you ever talk to any of them? Did you ever see them in class or any of that kind of stuff?
I've met Lauren Betts.
Okay.
She was the star player. So I've met her, but no, I don't have a class with any of them or anything.
And UCLA is one of the best schools in the country academically. So do you see athletes getting any sort of privileged treatment when it comes to academics, or do they have to go like everybody else does?
I mean, hard to say. I'm sure, I know they have all kinds of support with tutors and a lot of getting priority enrollment and making sure, especially when they have these NCAA championships and tournaments.
But they still have to go to class.
I mean, I would think so, yes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there are schools around the country where class is sort of optional.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think that obviously, again, circumstances are changed and adjusted for them when they have games and things, which is how it should be. But no, I mean, as far as I know, I would think that they're all doing their thing in classes.
I think the biggest difference I see when I'm walking the USC campus is that the athletes, they do have to go to class. In fact, we're supposed to grade them just as hard as everybody else, and they made that very clear. But they are allowed to use electric scooters on campus, and no one else is allowed to.
Oh, there's a lot of scooters at UCLA, but I wouldn't say it's an athlete-only thing. You have non-athletes on the scooters too.
Oh, really?
But it's definitely, if you're on a scooter, the athletes are only on scooters. So yeah.
Yeah, USC, I think their campus is more contained,
it's
so it's probably harder to do.
You got to watch out when you're walking down the hill for somebody flying by on a scooter.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Well, at USC, when you see the 340-pound lineman on a scooter, you sort of get out of the way too. But both schools obviously have incredible athletic programs and are also well-known academically, although I will say that I would think that the UCLA kids probably call USC sort of a safety school when it comes to academics, I guess. I would think. I'm pro USC because I'm a teacher there, but it might be a little harder to get into UCLA nowadays, I think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously both great, both competitive schools, but yeah, UCLA all the way. Go Bruins.
All right, so tell me about Westwood. What's the hot bar in Westwood nowadays?
I mean, Westwood doesn't have a too big of a going out scene. I think a lot of students are going off campus further, kind of into West Hollywood, downtown, Santa Monica, other areas when they're going out. Really in Westwood, you just have Rocco's and
Rocco's. Kaylee,
that's a cheer.
Yeah, that is a big cheer. Rocco's is known for all the sophomores and juniors in the high school area going there, right? Getting in somehow in the special line that you pay extra for. Yes, Rocco's. There you go.
You've been in that line too, Dad. He's been there.
Oh, you've been in there? There used to be a place called Maloney's. I wonder if that was what Rocco's is. I can't remember which.
I've been in Rocco's.
A couple of times.
I've been in Rocco's a couple of times. And when you're over the age of 40 plus, it's much easier to get into Rocco's without having to wait in that line.
That's when you get the special line.
Yeah, they know that you actually come in with a wallet versus just coming in to cause a ruckus.
Is there but the special line does require extra payment, right? It's like the e-pass to get in.
It does. The extra line, I don't know what the price was for the extra line, but when you come in on Parents' Weekend with the dad squad, they don't charge you extra for the special line. You can get in. They know you can support the student. That's the assumption, at least.
Well, UCLA, to me, when I moved out here in LA and I lived by UCLA and I worked at the Olive Garden that served a lot of the wealthier UCLA kids at the time. That was the hot, expensive date place. Now Olive Garden is probably the cheap, inexpensive place to go. But it's gone, I think, now too. In fact,
yeah, I don't think there's an Olive Garden in Westwood anymore.
It's quite sad. I wonder if I helped bring it down into bankruptcy.
Wasn't it back then that original MTV Real World show had the UCLA kid on it? Way back
it was
when,
in
the
Venice.
First one. But
was it in Venice or San Francisco? What was the first one?
He was in the fraternity house at UCLA.
I think it was. Hey, Fur, do you remember the first Real World? The first Real World was Venice, or was it with? Oh, it was Venice because it was. Oh shoot, what was the guy's name?
Puck.
Yeah, well, no, Puck was San Francisco, I think.
That was like a different version.
Eric Nees, I think was his name. But yeah, I think he was in a fraternity at UCLA.
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot about that. Wow,
comes
that's old
back.
school.
That's
That
old
is old
school.
school. So Taylor, tell us a little bit about, because my brother and I are both here. What are some of the stories you've heard about us over the years that are sort of funny?
I mean, I think there's been a lot. I think you two got up to a lot in your childhood. I'm trying to think.
You mean more than what you and Claire did in your childhood, or Dylan and Kaylee?
Claire and I are angels. We never do anything bad.
Oh, really?
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think. I feel like there's a lot of Florida shenanigans with, like the jumping off the roof with the umbrella. That's always a good idea. And my dad likes to talk about when you would go on boats and go into different people's pools that maybe you weren't supposed to be in. And then one of your buddies almost got swept out to sea once or twice.
Yeah, that was, I mean, when you think about Florida, it was back then, it was, people didn't have bikes, they had boats, and people would drive a long way to go get their friend at 10 or 11 years old, maybe tops.
It was a little Lord of the Flies-esque
It was.
back in the day.
And then every once in a while, somebody would sneak their little 11-foot Boston whaler out into the ocean. That was sort of crazy. Yeah, it was nutty back then, I would say.
We made some trips over to Palm Beach before Palm Beach really hit the map on the 11-foot Boston whaler with the 9.9 Johnson engine to park in the backyards after you got all muddy from Miami Oolite on Munyon Island, just to jump into the pools of the lifestyles of the rich and famous before you got yelled at by the housekeepers to get back.
Yeah, I think in today's world, you actually get shot by somebody in those
probably
things.
so.
Those are like $100 million houses. And
Yeah.
back then, they were right off the Kennedy compound, I guess,
That's
but definitely in an off-limits area. The Palm Beach, we were on the other side of the inlet, right? The other side of the tracks.
The other side of the tracks.
So we looked across at those peeps, and the fishing was amazing. A lot of sharks, and every once in a while we would take the boogie boards over to Peanut Island, and somebody would get swept out into the Palm Beach Inlet among all the sharks on a little boogie board. That was Greg Cohen was one of the famous ones.
Yeah, he was one. Sort of survival of the fittest.
Yes.
Although really it was more of like the lottery of who got what size paddling device, because that had a big factor in it.
That's true. But if you did get to Peanut Island, we had some pretty good football games on that sandbar.
Epic.
So you brought up, what was the other thing that you brought up? You brought up, you didn't bring up the wallpaper incident, but you brought up the umbrella incident. And the cool thing about life for me in our family is that I was 2 years older than my brother. So I was like a little more advanced, and I had a hunch it wouldn't work, but I convinced him to jump off the second floor of our house holding a golf umbrella, and told him that you saw Mary Poppins float away and he would do the same thing. What exactly happened when you do that?
It wasn't quite the same as that, but it was pretty close. And that ending is about how it worked out. But
I feel like you did a lot of flips in the air.
Well, I think you convinced me because I was the smallest. It was probably you, McIlvain, and Cohen, and I would have been 2 years younger. Maybe Nat Hill could have been there or so. And you convinced me that since I was 20 pounds lighter, that I would be the easy one to just float my way down to the ground. Jumping off the second floor, even if you're a little bit lighter, does not help you float all the way down to the ground, even with a big umbrella, but especially like one of those business ones.
Well, the umbrella didn't even stay an umbrella, as I recall. It sort of flipped the other way, and it caused you to actually fall faster.
Yeah, I think it's like, trying to hold an umbrella into like a class 4 hurricane, it just folds right immediately in half. And then I hit the ground. It was kind of like a pile of a crumbled mess when I hit the ground.
So,
but pride was high. You got to stand up quick after that.
100%. The pride was high. And I also think what was interesting is that you think back about the times when there was no helicopter parenting whatsoever, right? Like, I mean, we were given, I think $10 a day for dinner when my parents went to Japan for 2 weeks, right? And we had Patty Ivans or somebody down the street,
Smith.
Patty Boss,
Patty Boss,
who was our our babysitter, but she wasn't really a babysitter. She was supposed to stop by the house once a day just to see if we were alive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think you were 9 and I was 11, and our parents left us a note that said what hotels they were going to be at different times, and if there was an emergency to call and leave a message. Do you remember that?
I remember that well. Yeah, not too many ways to reach people 12 time zones away on a little phone from your kitchen when you're 9 years old. So it was pretty much the opposite of helicopter parenting.
Well, and then you would leave if something did, heaven forbid, happen to us. We would have left a message with somebody who only spoke Japanese, and they would have passed it on to our parents maybe a few hours later, and then they maybe caught a flight from wherever they were in Japan and got back within, I don't know, 24 hours maybe?
Yeah, at best.
Or they just pen palled with somebody and said, hey, will you just check on them again, make sure they're okay. But yeah, the helicopter parenting thing was not a part of our lifestyle, nor was it for a lot of the kids that we knew. I mean, it was a pretty, go on your bikes and don't come back until it's dark.
Be home by dark.
Be home by dark.
That's about it.
And sometimes you get forgotten at the soccer field.
That happened too.
Oh, yeah. I
too.
forgot about that. That's a good one, too. Do you remember that time? What exactly happened?
Well, that was not a Florida story. That's a Connecticut story for me.
Oh, well, it happened to me in Florida.
It happened in Palm Beach Gardens, too.
It was Nat Hill and I.
It did happen there, too.
I remember we were waiting. And by the way, that was also back when the coaches didn't wait until every kid was picked up.
No, you go when you go.
Yeah, you go when you go. So I think we were both 9, or maybe I was 9 and Nat was 8, and we were playing in Palm Beach Gardens soccer. And everybody left and it started getting dark. And we were like, wait, what's going on here? No one's here. And got darker and darker. And then I remember I said to Nat, I think the police station's around here somewhere. We should go. And I remember going to the police station with him, and we walk in there, and it was a bunch of like derelicts, and there was one dude with a whip, like a big leather whip, and he was snapping the whip. I'll never forget it. In fact, I got to have Nat Hill on this podcast, because it was frightening. It was like, I think we were 9 and he was maybe 8, and it was like a 15-year-old practicing a big leather whip that would just make the loudest crack.
Was he like a junior cadet?
I don't know. I think he might have been a derelict that they...
Police academy practice training?
I think they arrested him, but just allowed him to be in the plaza area or something when you walk in, and it scared the crap out of us. But I remember finding a guy that looked important, and we just said, hey, no one's picked us up. And the guy's like, oh my God, have you been kidnapped? We just had...
that would mean somebody picked you up.
I was gonna
just
say.
the wrong person.
Well, the crazy part is that was around the time of Adam Walsh, if you remember the kid who was killed in Florida. So, like, everybody was a little on high alert, except it seemed our parents at the time, I guess, in a little bit. I mean, they were on high alert. They just... Not that night.
Not that night.
Yeah. Well, and by the way, Nat Hill...
You gotta take a night
Nat
off
Hill's
so
parents
often.
weren't on high alert that night either. I don't know who was supposed to pick us up.
Parenting is tough. You got to take a night off here and there.
So now that we have covered the helicopter or non-helicoptering parenting sort of ritual that we've been a part of genetically, what do you think of empty nesting?
Well, like you just said, you got to take a night off sometimes. So now empty nesting is a big change, right? You get rid of both kids. Yours happened both at the same time. I had it spaced out. So we got rid of one, then we get rid of the second one, and now they come back. But we love having them come back when they do. So I think it provides like the perfect mix of back 20 years before kids. You have a little bit of time to do the things that you actually want to do. And then you get the kids back in the house. And we love the noise and the chaos when the kids are all around. It's great shenanigans to have, because honestly, those stories that we're telling about when you're kids, you want your kids to do the same thing when they're older.
That's true. Oh, go.
Oh,
Karen.
I was going to say it's got to be a lot quieter now with Claire and I out of the house.
It is much quieter. It is much quieter. There are rooms that go unused, and that's what makes it sad.
Except for the 1-bedroom apartment. In
oh yeah. Well, okay. So and I think a lot of people that do listen to this, because empty nesting is relevant to their life. They have decided either to downsize or to move or to do something different or something more adventurous because the kids are out, right? Like, so you guys were in California for how long? So Taylor and Claire where were they both born?
Taylor and Claire were both born in Connecticut.
Okay.
Then they spent 5 years in Southern California.
5 years in Southern California, and I remember you guys moved here as the whole state was on fire.
The whole state was on fire.
Literally on fire.
When we flew in, I remember flying in for the first time. The family was nervous. I had a 6-month-old and a 2-year-old. They're sitting on one side of the plane. I'm on the other. And as you fly over sort of Lake Havasu area coming in, you could see smoke in the hills. I was kind of looking out the window. The guy says, "Oh, you're not from the West Coast." He says, "You'll find 2 seasons out here. We got fire season and non-fire season." And that started it. And that was one of the biggest fires. That was, 2007, October 2007, that we were in temporary housing for about 3 months.
Wow, that was October 2000. That was just before the great financial crisis. So you guys were here. And you guys moved into Solana Beach
We were in Solana Beach. We were in temporary spot in Solana Beach. And you talk about financial crisis. When we were looking at houses then, it was right at the beginning of that. We toured places that had obviously been repossessed, been put on auction, and they had wiring stripped out of them. These places were sort of really at the end of people taking $1 million homes and stripping them down for everything because they were leaving in the middle of the night type of thing. The market dropped.
Yeah, and I think I remember you could have bought the house you were in that you were renting or something. It was like literally a block from the beach, and it was like 900,000 or something crazy. It was incredible, like what the property values were back then. And Solana hadn't been as discovered as some of the places.
It was Pizza Port, and that was about it.
Because that was where it's the famous yoga guy, the Swamis.
Swami's is up near Cardiff. Swami's is just 2 miles north. We were right across the street, right at the train tracks from Fletcher's Cove.
Yeah,
Pizza Port, Fletcher's Cove, that area.
All right, so then Solana, you moved to Carmel Valley, right? Was that the name of it?
Yeah.
So, and then you finally moved back to the East Coast. What year was it?
We moved to Connecticut in the end of 2011.
Oh, that's right. You did Connecticut and then Charlotte.
Connecticut. Okay. We moved to Connecticut thinking it was going to be the 30-year home. And then a company move came in. We were there about 9 months and moved down to North Carolina.
Okay. So, Taylor, give me the lay of the land. Okay. This is important because there's probably empty nesters thinking about where they want to move. And then there's a lot of younger peeps that listen because they happen to be friends with some of our kids and now you. Give a bit of a gist of what it's like growing up in California, North Carolina, Connecticut.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a cool experience to have, being able to have lived in a bunch of different places. And I think too, like now I go to college across the country from, like, I would kind of consider Charlotte home for the most part. I mean, we were there 10, 11 years, 12, something like that. So, but I think that, like, just in terms of being able to go so far away for school, like, I think having lived in a handful of different places, and granted I was a lot younger at the time, but I still feel like gives some of that confidence of like, I can live somewhere else and be fine with that. But yeah, I mean, and it's great too. Like, I feel like now, especially getting close to graduating college and everything, but kind of exciting to know people from all over the country and have multiple places that feel somewhat like home or familiar. So I don't know. I think moving can be tough. And like, I mean, now them moving back to Connecticut too, I think they've run into some challenges with housing and everything, but I think that it can be fun. It can be cool.
What is like, if you could pick what your favorite places to live, right? Like if you could live anywhere out of all those places once you graduate college, where would you want to live, including LA at UCLA?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily know where I want to be the next couple of years after I graduate. I think that, I mean, I'm working in San Diego this summer, and I think that that's definitely high on my list to potentially stay out there post-grad. But also, again, like a lot of family being on the East Coast and things, New York City and Boston have kind of been high on the list. Again, like not having lived there, but a little bit closer that I could go home for a weekend or something, go visit family.
Well, what about you, John? Where would you live out of all those places if you could live anywhere?
I'll tell you, San Diego is a tough place to leave. It's a tough place to leave. And once you do, it's hard to get back in. So it actually was, we were there at the perfect stage with kids, perfect stage in our lives. It was great. But would love to get back there. But there's great things about where we're going. You were talking about empty nesting. And so the big debate right now is you go from the big house where you had all the teenagers running around in to something where you don't need all that space. And how far do you take that down? Is it super small but right near the ocean or something, or do you still have enough space to make sure that they can come home in? And so we're kind of in between right now, but that's what we're looking at.
It is interesting to have, and you actually talked about, I'm trying to think of what it looks like. It's like a barbell or whatever, where you have the wide part of the barbell where the weights are is like the most freedom possible. And then you have kids, and that constricts all the freedom you have because there's a lot of responsibilities. And then when the kids are out of the house, you get the barbell back, the weight side. And when you think about how a lot of people live life, some people go straight into the skinny part of the barbell right away, and then on the back end they got the massive freedom time at a young age, right? And I would argue for myself, and Jen was a little younger obviously, but it's sort of I got that sort of nice freedom portion at an earlier age. Then the kids came, and I'm 55 now, which is not over the hill, I need a cane, I can't do anything. I still have enough energy left to go do a lot of stuff, right? I sort of did the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good analogy, the sides of the barbell. I mean, we were talking about it earlier about traveling with the kids and how kids now study abroad when they're in college and do these things, which didn't really exist to the level it does now, 20, 30 years ago. But fortunately for us, before we had kids, Carrie and I, we spent time overseas working over there and going to school as is, not as an undergrad, but doing it a handful of years after post-grad and working. Great experiences, traveling all around. And so you had that front end of the barbell.
Oh, you were living with Morrissey.
We lived with Morrissey.
In St. Catharines Docks.
We lived in a place, look, we
by
couldn't...
the Tower Bridge.
We couldn't afford that place now, and yet as 20...
Yeah, what would that have cost back? Back then it was expensive, but now it'd be crazy, right? I mean...
It's probably an $8 million flat that's right there on the water.
Overlooking the harbor.
We were put in as kids just because of job transfer. So
what was the soccer stadium that was nearby? There was I don't think it was a Premier League, but it was something close. It was right by the Great Lasagna Place. It was over there.
Well, that was just a rec center. That was in Wapping High Street.
I thought that was actually a below Premier League team or something.
Well, the closest Premier team at the time was West Ham United.
Okay, West Ham.
But they've moved out by the Olympic Stadium, so the old West Ham Stadium was closer. But Chelsea was really the home
We
field.
went to that Chelsea game 26 years ago. Oh my God, that's crazy.
1999, 2000. That's when
Y2K was about to kill us all.
Y2K was going to kill us all.
In fact, there were no trash cans in London because everybody thought there was bombs in them.
That was true. That's when they were all taken out.
Oh, man. Sloane Square. All about Sloane Square.
A lot of great Chelsea games back then.
We didn't... Liam and Noel we did not see. That was a bummer. But we did see Danny Bear. We were talking about Danny Bear on this. Oh, we saw Tanya Cohen at the original Soho House.
We saw your buddy Tanya Cohen. That's right.
The original Soho House. We were there.
And Ponte.
Yes, Ponte Lambros. Shout out to Ponte Lambros. In fact, I reconnected with him recently.
Yeah, well, wherever Ponte was, he took me to a posh lunch one day on my work break. It was fantastic.
Yeah, he had it going on over there. He was like Stacy's mom. So that's do you know that reference?
Yeah.
Stacy's mom. She's got it going on.
Little Fountains of Wayne.
Was that Fountains of Wayne?
I think so.
Oh, I thought that was like a one-hit wonder of some sort, but maybe it was.
I'm pretty sure it's Fountains of Wayne.
All right. Well, if Jen were here, she'd look it up on the internet, but she's over on the couch
her assistant
watching us have fun. So, all right. So, Taylor, San Diego, I will say, if I could have my druthers and live sort of anywhere and have all the stuff that you need to do to make a living and all that kind of stuff, like San Diego is pretty awesome because the parks are insane, the beaches are insane, the weather's insane.
Yeah. I'm excited to be down there this summer. I'm looking forward to it.
Are you going to be living in the city?
No, I'm living like inland from Del Mar area, right? Yeah.
She's in Carmel Valley, Rancho Bernardo, Carmel Valley. 4S Ranch, I think is what they call it there.
Wait, by that, what's the 6-star hotel there or whatever?
Kind of near there. That's
what was the name of that?
That was the Grand Del Mar.
The Grand Del Mar. Do you remember that opened up in the middle of the great financial crisis, and you and I went for a steak dinner there? We were the only people in there. They were like so happy we came.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to see this place. I heard about how opulent it is.
I think I went there 3 times, probably 2 of the 3 times with you, and I was the only person in there every time.
It opened up at the worst. I think it went bankrupt a couple times during that.
Beautiful place. I don't know what happened to it.
Crazy
Beautiful
golf course.
She'll be 4 miles east of there.
Okay. Are you going to go visit your old stomping grounds? Are you friends with a lot of people still there?
I mean, I'm staying with family friends this summer from when we lived down there. So I know a handful of people, and then from going to school up in LA, I'd have a handful of friends who are from San Diego or work down there, or friends working down there. So I feel like I'll know a fair amount of people.
Dylan's got to reconnect you with John Pryor, the Pryors, and Magnus's parents.
Oh, Magnus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Magnus.
Yeah.
He lived in our neighborhood.
Magnus von Magnus.
Yeah, he lived in our neighborhood.
He's kicking butt.
But certainly shout out to the Crickards. That's the family friends that Taylor was calling about.
Oh, yeah. Give a couple shout outs. What about the Aussies?
Well, shout out to the Aussies. Tomorrow night, World Cup, Australia, 9:00. Aussie party down in Carmel Valley, so I'll be there.
What are their names again? Like, what are some of them?
Paul and Maura Shoe. Shout out to the Shoes.
Wait, and then those guys, like every time I went down to visit you, they would go surfing no matter what. Like it was like if it was dribbling or if it was the Mavericks.
They're the ones that got me into it. Paul and Mark Fishburne and Paul Shoe, the Aussies. It was 7 a.m. at 7, so 7th Street at 7th Street Del Mar.
And they didn't care if sharks were sighted or whatever. They'd just be like, we wrestle them out.
We used to climb down that hill on the other side of the train tracks and almost kill ourselves every time. But when the waves were good, you had to go out. Didn't matter.
Yeah, those guys were pretty fun, man. I remember like when we'd get up and we like, it's cold. It's like the surf cams look terrible. And you're like, no, we're going to go because they're going to be there.
Rain or shine.
Rain or shine.
And the great thing, rain or shine. Look, on the East Coast, if you said I'm going to go out every Saturday morning at 7 a.m., it's going to be crap 95% of the time. In Del Mar, maybe the waves are smaller, maybe they're bigger, but 90% of the time you actually have something rideable. It's fantastic.
It's sort of like life in a way.
It's life.
Wouldn't you say, Taylor?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, wait. Before we wrap this up, like, how are your grades? Good?
They're pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Okay, so you're not like John Belushi in Animal House kind of thing?
She probably doesn't know who that is. Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't know
who that is.
She knows
Stacy's mom, who's got it going on.
Yeah, but I didn't get that reference.
Animal House is probably about 1977. Stacy's mom is probably about 2000.
So do you do better than say Will Ferrell in Old School?
I think have I seen that movie? I don't even know.
Oh,
we're gonna help her out. We're gonna
Christmas. I think on that
you need a wah for that one.
Yeah. I think we'll play a little like Stranger Things kind of music here. Like, did you ever see Stranger Things, or is that a little too old for you?
I mean, a lot of my friends watched it, but I didn't.
Oh my God. What about Real Housewives of San Diego or anything like that? Okay. Well, all I got to say is this was a pleasure having my brother Jon, having Taylor Fenton, who's arguably one of the smartest people in the history of ever attending UCLA, from what I've heard. Yes. Oh, and you were giving us all kinds of tidbits about it. When to visit Ibiza, when to go to Hungary.
I'm glad that's my mark that I've left.
Copenhagen, where to go, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, it's really nice to have you guys in the house. We are empty nesting, Plate and Ponder empty nesting with Jen and Chris Fenton, but tonight it was Taylor and Jon Fenton. Do you guys have a couple last minute things you want to say to anybody out there to get us our 73rd market?
Boy, 73rd market's going to be tough. You're really stretching it. But certainly shout out to Carrie and Claire on the East Coast. They're probably in bed right now, but they're loving Plate and Ponder.
All right, Taylor?
Yeah, they'll be listening tomorrow, so we say hi.
In a snow globe?
In the snow globe,
All
yeah.
right,
Claire loves
I
the
love
snow
it.
globe. We'll put that on a follow-on episode sometime. We'll get her out here for that.
Perfect. Until next time, please follow, engage, enjoy. DM us if you want to be a guest. We're talking about it. We're going to do it eventually here with some of these random emails that are coming in. So till we get our 73rd nation, bye-bye.